Here we go. Let's see what we have. First of all, more of an introduction. You know, they explain what all this stuff means, whatever. Most of this stuff you already know because I've talked about this stuff for nothing new. They just explain what honor is, what rank is, what RP is, what decay is, blah blah blah. We all know that stuff. Now the changes. What's gonna change? And we have a nice little table here. Minimum number of honorable kills necessary. Lower the volume a little bit. Necessary to earn CP. That's the same. How many honor points are awarded? It's the same. When does honor decay happen? It's the same. What's the maximum amount of CP? It's the same. HKs, DKs, blah blah blah. Same. And now we get to the different stuff. Is player standing displayed? No, because the standings are gone. So there's no more standing 1 and you're standing 2 and blah blah blah. How is the player's rank determined? First it was based on number of RP. And now it's based on the number of CP because RP does not exist. And what's the difference, right? You'd be like, what's the difference? Well, RP was dependent on your standing and these artificial caps that we used to set. That's not the case anymore because now the caps are kind of fixed. They're set numbers that you have to reach. So there's no more deviation. There's no, oh, I got 50 RP less than you and oh, you better stack 1k honor below me so I can be standing up. No. None of that bullshit anymore. How do DKs penalize players? Same. How often are ranking points awarded? Never, because they don't exist. Will honor decay indefinitely? In the old system, yes. In the new system, no. You only decay to the beginning of your current rank. If you're rank 11, you can, let's say you're rank 11 50%. You will decay until rank 11 0%, but you will never decay to rank 10 anymore. Unless you get a DK, I guess. But that's fine. If we were 1.6, yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that. How are honor points converted to CP? First, it was the formula that we used to have. And now, it's just straight up a cap, right? So, you just hit a specific number of honor, and then you are technically bracket 1. And everyone else can get bracket 1 as well. You get the maximum amount, and that's how you rank up. And we'll talk about this and the effect it has later on. When the stats for this week and lifetime update once per day. This is immediately. Just whatever, it's just a convenience thing. Can players see their standing in the old system? Yes. In the new system, no, because there is no standing, because there is no brackets technically. So, new system looks pretty similar in terms of just the window. And then blah 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 blah. Okay, so this one is the important part. There's a hard cap on how far you can progress in a given week, and the minimum number, can't speak, required to blah blah blah. 14 in 8 weeks. So rank 14 in 8 weeks. If you get bracket 1 every week in the old system, you need 12. Now you need the honor cap, which is bracket 1 technically, for 8 weeks. We'll talk about how that's going to affect it. So, all of that, I mean, it's not a huge change, but it is a significant change. We'll talk about the effects. So, first of all, we have, right? Brackets are gone. Ish. They're gone-ish. Because now, instead of artificial brackets, let's say BR1 750k and then BR2 is 650k, and then bracket 3 is 550k. Now it's just cap is 750. No, these numbers are not final, but whatever. And then everything under is just less CP. So what does that mean? It means if you get 750k every week, you will rank up as fast as you would have if you were bracket 1 all the time. Except now it's 8 weeks to 14. So I assume the new system is just, you know, rank 0 and then 4, 8, 10. So that's 1, 2, 3 weeks. And then probably 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I assume this is how it's gonna be, because that's kind of the scaling of bracket 1 in the old system. You go from 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 10, and then you just go 11, 12, 13. You spend 2 weeks at 13, and then you go to 14. Now, we had an accelerated system in SoM1, if you remember. Because this is not technically the bracket 1 speed. The bracket 1 speed is a lot slower. Because you have 4 extra weeks. In fact, you have an extra plus 12 rank and an extra plus 13 here as well. But that's besides the point. The point is that this is the new system. 0, 4, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14. I assume. Otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Now, why did I say brackets are gone-ish? Because brackets still kind of exist, right? If you only get 650k honor in the new system, you're kind of ranking up at the pace of someone who would have gotten, you know, bracket 2 or something. Because now the honor gets directly converted into CP. So you can still do a slower rank, especially because now the decay is gone. So you can still take it easy, technically. You don't think it's ish? Brackets equals competition with Backstreet, which is totally gone essentially in XP system with really cap now. Yeah, but that doesn't really go against what I'm saying though. There's no bracketing at all. But that's why I'm saying it's ish, right? What I mean is, there are different speeds at which you can rank up. Oh, it's not at all ish? Because it's still the exact same, you know, scaling. Except now you have a hard cap. The point is that now in the new system you are kind of being pushed into farming bracket 1, whether you like it or not. And whether that's a good thing or not, we'll see. But we'll talk about the FOMO issue later. I have a big issue with the FOMO. Talk about that later. Fini, FOMO. Regardless of whether you want to call this an XP system or a bracket system or whatever, the point is there are different speeds at which you can rank up. But now there's no amount of players that is limited to one specific bracket. Everyone can get bracket 1 now. Whatever you want to call it. Bracket 1, cap, you know, XP 1, whatever you want to call it, right? Everyone can get the maximum number of contribution points now at the same time. The FOMO say, let's say 4. I'm glad you say that because I disagree and I will tell you why in a bit. Right? Here we go. All right. What else? So that's basically the change, right? The change is there's no brackets anymore. There's just a cap. You can get that, get the maximum contribution points, and then you rank up in this way. Great. So standings are gone. There's no competition with your own faction. There's no stacking. There's no, you know, bracket breaking. None of that. All of that stuff is gone. Okay. Great, right? Sounds cool. It does kind of sound cool. Because that means, you know, without the decay and whatever, everyone can get rank 14 at some point. You know, all the dad gamers, they can get rank 14. Hardcore players can get rank 14. By hardcore, I mean actual dedicated, you know, no-lifers, not whatever the hardcore community has fucking stolen from us in terms of the namesake. You know, seems like a reasonable change. But this has a couple of issues. Now, in SoM1, we had the faster rank. And as someone who did the faster rank, I actually preferred that over the small rank, or the old rank. The small rank was better than the big rank. Now, I have done all kinds of ranks, right? Literally all kinds. I've done the Alliance rank with queues. That was Northdale. I've done the Alliance rank without queues. That was Lightbringer. I've done the Horde rank with queues, which was Lightbringer, and the Horde rank without queues. And I've done I've done multiple of all of those. And then I've done, you know, the Horde rank with queues and bracket breakers and the Chinese and all of that stuff. Like any type of rank I've done. And let me tell you, they all sucked. I mean, at the moment, sure, it was fun hanging out with your friends, waking up at 5 in the morning, going to your PC, spending 18 hours playing, and watching some Chinese botter get more honor than you. You know, in the moment, it was all fun and games. But it is not healthy for the game, it is not healthy for the players, and it's just a straight up busted system. Now, the SoM rank made everything faster. It didn't change the actual system. It just made it faster by doubling the RP and the decay. So you would rank, you know, how many weeks was it? Half the time? Or something? 6-7 weeks or whatever it was. It was quite alright. But the problem was, it was all about AV. And AV gonna prove to be a big issue, because that is a problem in the new system as well, and it's actually a bigger problem than before. Now, let's talk about that. So do I did China Towers as your? Yeah, I am. I am. I'm as mentally ill as it gets when it comes to ranking. So, what does the new system promote? In the old system, just have it like this. In the old system, you had pool boosting, pool boosting. You had bracket fixing, you know, honor stacking. You had usually one dominant pre-made or a guild that decides who gets the spots. And then you had the other faction usually was just chaos. Other faction was chaos. Right? So Blizzard talked about pool boosting and how it was done by bots and whatever. Actually, I mean, yeah, they're not wrong. There was a lot of botting when it came to pool boosting. However, I would argue a significant amount of pool boosting was actually done by real players and not by bots. How do I know that? Because I pool boosted myself with thousands of other players on multiple servers. Because it was a community thing, right? Oh, you come and give us thousands of spots on Gehennas, we'll log on your server and we'll give you thousands of spots on, you know, Razorgore. That's how we did it, for example. We sat there and pool boosted for like 3 hours every week on Razorgore, even though we played on Gehennas, just to boost their pool by like thousands. And then they came with their players and we would all be sitting in the Discord, right? It was all real players with real accounts. And they would pool boost on our server and whatever. It was a community thing. Is it, you know, is it fucked? Is it stupid? Yeah, it's a stupid system. Right? Bracket fixing. It's also kind of a stupid system. Someone's gonna get shafted, you know? Someone's not gonna like the bracket they're in. They're gonna cause drama, blah, blah, blah. Honor stacking, same thing. You have to stack, let's say you have 10 bracket 1 spots. You gotta stack 10 people on the exact same honor. Let's say it's, you know, 1 million. Or how the Chinese on private servers used to like to do it, 999,999. Or 1 million, you know, 900, whatever. Or anything. The Chinese used to hate the fucking, you know, even numbers. They always wanted 9999 or 899999, whatever. The point is, you gotta stack everyone at the same honor. And if someone's like 5 above, well, shit, now everyone's gonna go and get 5 as well. And then one of those people is gonna get 6 instead of 5. And then you have this whole fucking thing that's, so annoying, right? That's gone as well. And then one dominant pre-made / guilds decide who gets the spot. That's also gone now because now everyone can get bracket 1. There's no controlling force over the brackets anymore. And then the other faction being chaos is also gone because it doesn't matter. Everyone's just every man for himself, right? Every woman for himself or herself. Wow. Whatever you want to call it. So, new system then. What's the new system? Everyone just solo farms AV for max honor. Everyone gets bracket 1. No community effort. No drama. Not all negative. No drama. And, you know, no chaos. But also, fewer premates. And this is a problem that's not just because of the new system, but because of our good old friend Alterac Shit Valley. So, the elephant in the room is AV. AV was already bad in the old system because it was just better honor, and despite you not being able to queue as a group or as a raid, you could still, you know, queue at the same time, and then more often than not you'd end up in the same game and whatever. And it was just the best honor. In the new system, this is gonna be a bigger problem because the new system actually promotes solo play and it discourages like actual pre-mades and stuff. It promotes this behavior of single player mentality, just QAV, run to Drek, ignore PvP, get the max honor so you can get the cap, and then you're done, right? You're capped on honor and then you're done. So, what's the solution? Well, there's a couple solutions, but before that, we gotta talk about a bigger problem. A bigger problem. And that is actually the biggest problem of all, which is botting. Botting is gonna be bad in the system. It's gonna be really, really bad. So why do you think? Why would I think it's bad? Well, let me tell you. In the old system, you could just, you know, out-farm the bots by being more efficient. A bot would never get to bracket 1. The bot would never be able to out-farm a pre-made or, you know, whatever. Bots happened during the times of the Chaos faction when people needed to, you know, stay ahead of the curve, and they would go to sleep and then put on an AV bot, and then it would farm a little bit of honor while they're sleeping. Because in the old system, if you're on the Chaos faction, you basically had to play 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, if not more. On the civilized faction, you would have proper brackets, and then you'd only play like 4 or 5 days, which is also a lot. Now, the issue with botting is that there is no brackets, so all the bot has to do is farm 750k honor. It doesn't matter if he farms it in 1 day or 7 days. All he has to do is get to that magical number, and then he will get rank 14 before everyone else because he is capped. We all know Blizzard's track record of banning bots in Alterac Valley. It's not good. But so what? Great. I'm glad you asked so what. I'm glad you asked so what. Because what happens 8 weeks after release when every bot has rank 14 gear? You think the dad gamer that barely had time to rank is gonna look at his character and go, man, should I continue this character or should I just buy this botted character with rank 14 gear and then play that? Also, does it not diminish the value of gear when every fucking bot has gear that already makes next phase's raid obsolete? If we have ranking from the start and it only takes 8 weeks, and this is something that I want to talk about later. If the ranking is in from the start and you have rank 14 gear when Molten Core has barely been out, not only are you making Molten Core's gear obsolete, you are making Blackwing Lair's gear obsolete, most of ZG gear is obsolete, and half of AQ gear is obsolete. and you have barely been scratching the surface of phase 1. And that's on every player, right? Every bot, every dad gamer, every hardcore player, everyone is gonna have that. And then people wonder why no one logs in anymore. Well, why would you log in when you already have the best gear from 3 phases from now? It's a problem of the PvP gear, not the way to obtain it. I disagree. I think it's both. I think the PvP gear is so strong that it needs to be an actual journey and not just some short time, you know, thingy. And this brings me to this point, right? How do we fix this? Well, first of all, how do we fix the AV problem? How about, there's a couple solutions. Number one, reduce the honor of AV significantly. And by that, I mean significant. Make it be almost nothing, right? People want to play AV for the reputation rewards. Great. That's cool. But if AV is in from the start and it gives more honor than everything else, and all you need is a cap, no one's gonna fucking play anything else. And people already don't play anything else because this is the most efficient way to get the cap. All you have to do is like 1.5 days of AV. 750k is nothing. We used to do 400-500k in 1 day of AV. Like, this is 2 days of playing for a super dedicated person, and he's done, right? So you have to reduce the honor of AV significantly, or don't release AV at the same time as Warsong and AV. Just release it later. Right? We don't need AV from the start.
Kill the warlock! Kill the fucking warlock, man! Kill the fucking warlock!
People arrive.
Thank you, HCO3 bicarbonate. Thank you for the 21, dude. Appreciated it. What else? So reduce the honor or don't release it. Okay. Or, I mean, I don't know. You could probably do something else with it. Because the worst thing is the AV rank. And everyone who's ever ranked will agree with me. There's nothing worse than queuing into AV and then holding W until you get to the other faction boss, and then wiping because someone pulled the fucking guards, and then the other faction wins the game in 7 minutes. You do this over and over and over and over and over again. Boring. It's boring, it's tedious. There's no community effort, it's just you solo queue and you go. It's boring. And yeah, at least in the old AV, there was Lotus and Thorium and whatever, but whatever. Okay? Now, we get to the point of duration / effort. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, the duration. It used to be 12 weeks, now it's 8. I think it's too short. I think it's too short because ranking is supposed to be a long-term commitment. Now, you don't have the decay anymore, so you can actually take some breaks. So why are we reducing the effort and reducing the duration? I think we should only reduce one. We don't need rank 14 gear to just be handed out to everyone. We need a system. Hold on. Taking a sip of my beer. We need a system that feels rewarding, and a short duration, low effort, rank doesn't feel rewarding, and it hurts the game because it's so easy, and half the game just becomes obsolete, right? Farming dungeons becomes obsolete. Like 8 weeks after release, no one's doing dungeons anymore because everyone's decked in rank 14. No one's doing Molten Core because half the gear there sucks. People aren't going to be excited about Black Rain. This is actually the exact thing that happened in SoM. People were ranking so fast that they were discouraged to play raids. The amount of people who did Molten Core on SoM was so low in the beginning because everyone was getting epic gear from ranking, and then they looked at the tier 1 gear and were like, why the fuck would I ever go in that raid? Right? We'll talk about the solutions as well. So, I don't like that the duration is reduced and the effort is reduced. My solution would be put it back to 12 weeks. You can only have one of these. You either have 12 weeks ranks with no decay and the cap system, or 8 weeks. You really want 8 weeks for some reason, but you have to increase the cap. And there's a magical number that you have to put it at to make it significant. And that magical number is 1 million. Now, why 1 million? It's a gameplay thing, and B, a psychological thing. The gameplay is that 1 million takes, 1 million is only, 25% more than 750k. You only farm 250k more honor. That's like 3/4 of a day of AV. It's not that big of a deal, right? It kind of is though, because 750k is 2-3 days. A million, 4, 5. It's a pretty big commitment. Right? It's a significant time commitment, but you can still take breaks because there is no decay. So it feels like an actual journey. And it should, because the rewards are insane. Some classes wear these, weapons until the end of the game. You're not supposed to get this just willy-nilly after 8 weeks. And the second part is psychological. And I think this is the more significant part. 1 million doesn't just sound like a lot. It actually sounds too much. It sounds like too much. And that's a good thing. Because the let's say we have it at 900k, right? Let's take this scenario. The cap is 900k. You're at 800k. And you go, well, I'm almost there, right? It's so close. I can just farm it really. And then you spend a couple more hours and then you're at like 940k, 900 or 850k, 840k, and you go, oh man, I'm almost there, dude. And then you get to that 900. Okay, great. But if you have a million and you farmed all this time and now you're at 800k or 850k, the 1 million still seems so far away, even though it really isn't. It's just, you know, 100, 150k. But the psychological factor of it just looking like an absurd number is gonna push a lot less people to actually go for that 1 million. A lot of people might just stop at 800 or 900 or 950 or 850 or 750, right? And that's important because you do not want everyone to be bracket 1. You don't want everyone to be capped every week. Because then again, you have this situation where 8 weeks into the game and you run around, and this is how this is how SoM2 is gonna look like. Everyone in rank 14 gear. And you go to your group finder and it's just molten core, maybe Blackwing Lair. And you're like, well, what's the point of even raiding when this is how the city looks? So there's an important factor of, like, you want people to play, right? You want to incentivize people to play, but you don't want everyone to get the cap. So, and this is gonna tie into FOMO. There is more FOMO in the new system, and it's because of the 750k number. Right now, in the old system, if you don't get a bracket 1 slot, too bad. There's only 10 slots or 12 slots or whatever it is, right? And then you slot into bracket 2. And then you play that system until the bracket 1 guys are done, and then you slot into bracket 1 yourself, and then you finish your rank, and then the old bracket 3s go up to bracket 2, etc. It's all like a ladder system. In the new system, if you don't get 750k, you're gonna feel like shit because everyone else is making it. I'll give you an analogy, and this analogy encompasses both the psychological and the gameplay issue. Let's say I told you there's $1 million in a bag somewhere around your block. You would probably put on your shoes, walk around for a little bit, and see if you find that bag. But if I told you there's $1 billion in a bag, let's say you're American, and that $1 billion bag is somewhere in Somalia, you'd be like, well, you know, better luck to the guy in Somalia. He can use the money, I guess. And then you're just gonna sit back and keep watching your anime. Because the effort of going to Somalia, even though the reward is insane, the effort just feels like, it's too much, right? I'd rather just go at my own pace. You gotta give people a big goal, but you can't make it too attainable. You can't make it too easy. So, gotta either increase the duration or increase the cap. Otherwise, everyone's just gonna be decked out in BIS gear and no one's gonna log in anymore, because you don't have to farm dungeons and you don't have to farm gold because all your gear is already BIS and it's fully enchanted, and you don't have to farm raids because none of the gear is an upgrade. And it's just, The game is just completely dead after 8 weeks. And we never even touched on the whole community aspect of it, right? We never even talked about the whole community part of the old rank. Like, let me tell you, for example. Let me tell you the story about Tubby. Oh, you guys, most of you guys know Tubby, the hunter. He was a solo player, and he was so efficient at farming honor that he would keep up with our bracket 1 people. And he like, that was before he joined the guild, right? He was just farming on his own, and he played a lot. He's a degenerate like all of us, and he used to keep up. And we ended up talking to him and, you know, getting him into the guild because it was better for him and us to play together rather than for everyone to do their own thing. And now, you know, he's part of the family. The friend, I consider him a close friend of mine. Played Lost Ark together, whatever. The whole point is that in this new system, it's everyone for themselves. Everyone's just there, you know, grinding on their own, farming AV or whatever. You get to the cap, you log out. There's no community part, there's no pre-mates, there's no organization. Everyone's just doing their own thing. It's lame. Would you get lower rank gear over time? For example, rank 10 for only MC, rank 12 for Black Miller, rank 14 for only AQ4. You could do that, yeah. I mean, that is a possible solution. The problem is twofold. Call it a possible. 8 the ranking gear phases. The problem is that, well, first of all, for some classes, some of the ranking gear is better than for others. So for example, Warlocks, the rank 10 gear is BIS for a very long time. In fact, it is BIS, you know, you could argue until Nax. Most people swap it out around AQ. But the rank 13 gear is garbage. Like, it is worse than Blackwing Lair gear. And then you go, well, you know, that's weird. And then you look at Warriors, and they're gonna wear the weapons until Nax, until they get Gressel. Like, wow. That's pretty crazy. So, you know, it would make sense to gate them, right? Well, if you're gonna gate it for Nax, then the caster weapons become obsolete because they're only on AQ levels. And if you, let's say, gate rank 10 for MC, okay, I mean, most of the tier 1 sets are pretty bad. And rank 12 for Blackwing Lair doesn't really make a big difference. I don't know, it's really hard because all the gear is so different for each class, and every class wears them for a different amount of time. It's hard to find an exact phase of when to gate them. So it's kind of tough. I don't know. It's tough, man. I'd rather have it gated than not gated, but I already know that as a Warlock, I would be very happy with the rank 10 gate when that opens, and then get my rank 10 gear, because I wouldn't care about anything later than that. Meanwhile, other classes are going to be like, well, rank 10 is garbage for me. I want rank 12. So I'm going to have to wait another 4, 5, 6 months. No class by rank 10 gears better than actually impactful. Well, sure. But that's like saying we should all just play warriors, because what's the point of any other class? People want to play what they want, and they want to feel strong on whatever they're playing. No, that's really the issue. It's a difficult problem to solve. I think overall the system has merit, the new system. But it doesn't come without problems. Would I rather rank in the new system? Yeah. Probably. I mean, definitely. Do I want to do another one of those old ranks? 3 months of degenerate play? No. No way. I've done it too many times. I don't want to do it ever again. It's not... It's fun in the moment when you're playing with friends. But looking back at it, it's horrible. You're miserable 90% of the time. So, basically TLDR, system's not bad, the new one, I like it, but I think the numbers need to be adjusted, and Blizzard is open to doing that. They said that those are just placeholders right now, and I think it's good that they're leaving the door open for changes here on those exact two situations. Because those are the exact two things that need to change, or at least one of them. Either have to increase the duration, or you have to increase the cap. Having both reduced is making the rank too easy. And you need to take care of AV. Another AV rank and SoM is gonna be dead in a week. No one wants to fucking rank AV. It's fucking horrible. I don't know a single person on this entire planet that actually prefers the AV rank over anything else. You think the botting problem is significantly less in new system because the average player does not have to compete with them? I disagree. I think the botting problem is a different problem this time because you don't have to compete. But it's still a big problem, but it's a different problem. The new problem is that you're gonna have rank 14 geared bots running around, and one, it's just a bad look for the game. And two, it's gonna cause a lot of RMT. A lot. People are just gonna be like, oh, let me just buy this rank 14 warrior. It's mine now. I mean, bots get free gear is the same as letting bad AV poop sorgers get free gear. Yeah, but at least the bad players are real players. If half the rank 14s you're seeing are botted characters, are you really gonna feel, happy about your character, about your rank? Are you really gonna, be excited about running around in the city knowing that half these people are not actually real people? Yeah, exactly. Even though it's only 8 weeks, right? If a dad game is gonna see a rank 14 warrior, and he wants a rank 14 warrior, and he can just buy that character because there's a million of them in supply, he's gonna buy that character. And that's just not a good look for Blizzard or the game, or the players. And having the cap at 1 million is gonna make it harder for bots. Like, we all know how much honor per hour bots farm, because we've seen it first person, you know, so many times over the years, ever since private's era. 1 million is not that easy to get for a bot, even in AV. I love sirens in my music. Yep. So, that is my take on this. That's my take. Any questions? Anything else I missed? Maybe. There's a couple things that I wanted to talk about as well, but they don't really have any significant relationship to the new system. You know, I would have preferred something more of a rating system with like Warsong and whatever, because that's gonna, you know, promote pre-mades and whatever. And I also kind of want to see something done about consumables, because right now pre-mating Warsong is so expensive. Something like gaining your consumables back after the something. Whatever. This is all stuff that can be talked about at a different time. But yeah, that's my take on the new system.